The intersection of Hoodoo and Catholic saints. A topic I find interesting, and I'm sure you will too. Let's begin by defining Hoodoo. Hoodoo is a set of magical beliefs and practices originating from West Africa and brought to North America and the Caribbean via the slaves during the slave trade, and it is linked to voodoo. So basically, when the slaves were being taken from Africa, they had already had their own set of beliefs and African traditional practices. And when they were brought to the Caribbean and North America, they were forced to change some of their beliefs to Christianity. And so they fused the African traditional beliefs and Christianity to form something called Hoodoo. And so there are a lot of intersections between Hoodoo and Christianity, as well as Hoodoo and Voodoo. The Hoodoo belief system consists of ancestor veneration, healing and protection through the use of herbs and rituals. As mentioned earlier, it is a blend of faiths, which is Christianity and African beliefs. Here is a picture of a Hoodoo altar, which would be at a person's home. It would generally consist of saints, some of them Christian, and 2 African saints, as seen represented by the statues. Rosaries on the traditionally Christian saints, a Bible, crosses, and offerings of water in a glass. There is also a candle, a bell on the right, and a prayer book on the left. There are several saints in both, I'll call them religions. There are several saints in both Catholicism and Hoodoo. Here's a short list of Hoodoo saints: Saint Expedite, Saint Barbara, Saint Martha the Dominator, Saint Anthony, Saint Anne, the Virgin Mary's mother, the Virgin Mary. The 2 faiths are so closely intertwined. This is a picture from a shop which sells both Hoodoo and Catholic materials. The Catholic Church, known as the Roman Catholic Church, is the largest Christian denomination with over 1.2 billion members worldwide. It claims to be the one holy Catholic and Apostolic Church founded by Jesus Christ himself, and it traces its history to Jesus and the apostles, with the Pope as the successor of Saint Peter as the head of the church. I made a Venn diagram showing the intersection between Hoodoo and the Catholic Church. In the intersection, you can see the practices and instruments used by both. Both faiths consist of having an altar, saints, a Bible, incense, candles, pictures, statues, and oil. Slight differences are Hoodoo uses Florida water while the Catholic Church uses holy water, and Hoodoo tends to focus on roots and herbs. Hoodoo also generally does food offerings while Catholicism does not. Florida water is used as a hand sanitizer, and it's used for cleansing. Holy water is also used for cleansing and spiritual protection. You can use it as a picture of a Catholic person's altar in their home, not in the church. So there are pictures of the saints on the wall, including the Virgin Mary and whom they believe to be Jesus. There are also 2 statues of the Virgin Mary and Jesus. There are candles, there is a rosary and a Bible, as well as flowers. A hoodoo altar would generally consist of almost the same: a Bible, flowers, a rosary, the cross, a statue of a saint. The difference would be the offerings of water, but there are candles as well. Saint. In Catholic theology, a saint is a person officially recognized by the Church as having lived a life of heroic virtue and is believed to be in heaven. And then saints are also believed to be intercessors. That is, the line, a saint could be a line between God in heaven and us people on earth. So if you have a prayer, you can ask the saint to intercede, to talk to God for you, to beg God on your behalf. And you would have a picture of that saint on your altar, and you talk to the saint and beg the saint to take your prayers to God. To me, this is just like ancestral veneration in Hoodoo and other traditional African beliefs. Thus, asking the question, is Catholicism actually Christianity? There are over 10,000 Catholic saints, and I cannot name them all, but here's just a list of a few: Virgin Mary, Saint Martha, Saint Anne, Mother of Mary, and all the Hoodoo saints I mentioned earlier.